Namaste, everyone. I'm going to give you Kundalini Yoga for this powerful moon eclipse energy that is happening in early July. So we're going to dive right in. It's a very intense, transformative time that will move and shake us in ways that may seem quite intimidating, may seem quite overwhelming, but we are gaining a strength that we require for the future, not only for our personal lives and our next initiation, right, but also for this planet. And we are the midwives for this Aquarian age, and a part of this massive intensity of just wave after wave after wave, right? So if you go to the ocean and there's no moment of stillness, right? There's another major wave, a major cosmic event with the solstice, the eclipse, the moon energy, all these sort of celestial windows that are just downpouring like a heavy rain of energy, and we're all impacted by it for a reason, right? Also with our sort of major planetary lockdown, right? Not planetary, but human, there's this lockdown sort of energy on this planet because of our pandemic. So all of that is building a resilience in us, right? A sort of tolerance and a strength that we require as a human species for the future, right? So we are basically character building. We're character building because what we're going to be asked to do in the future in our own personal lives, relationships, even in the sort of change that needs to happen in the sort of social, economic, religious, spiritual, sort of educational structure, all of that is needing an upgrade, right? So we need emotional maturity for that. And that's what a lot of these cosmic events are doing. They're giving us that sort of emotional grit, right? It's almost like you're going to get in these intense waves. It's going to overwhelm you. You're going to be intimidated by it, so you can get over it, right? It's like get over the intimidation, get over the intensity, get over. So it's going to push us to get over some things that we would not be able to get over if we didn't have that sort of momentum, that kind of push that we're getting, right? So all of us, we get intimidated, we get overwhelmed, it's very intense for us. It could be our own emotions, our own memories, our own present day, and all of it's asking us to go deeper, to develop a sort of resilience, and also to connect with the elders within our own sort of arc line, within our own sort of time-space machine, and get the knowledge that we need. If we don't have the knowledge, then to connect with the ark, right? The ark of knowledge, right? We think of Noah's Ark, we think of the ark of knowledge. Basically, it's the ark of the elders and the teachings that are not lost, right? So we're being asked at this time to really go deep and look at our real sense of security, and we're being asked to rebuild ourselves up from a more grounded place, and also a more emotionally mature place, where we're having relationships that are based off of emotional maturity, right? Where we're having the relationship with ourselves that's based off of emotional maturity, and our relationship just with our environment, with this planet Earth, is from emotional maturity, right? Time is very precious, time is very fast, and it's getting faster on this planet. So the universe, the Aquarian age, this sort of planet that's being linked up to interstellar consciousness, is giving us as human beings a chance to move with the velocity, to move with that sort of speed of thought, that speed of consciousness, that speed of light that is just now awakened within the soil of this earth, where it has been dormant for 6,000 years, right? So all of the soil is basically, it's highly charged. It's like highly charged, just like when lightning strikes in your area. Everything, there's this sense of electricity, right? There's this sense of the ground is very energized. Even when you touch the ground, there's a sense you could feel the sort of vibration or the sort of tingles of this high vibrational sort of voltage moving through your body. Just like when you touch a tree, you can feel that voltage. So we're basically getting these really high, intense sort of like thunder, rain, or thunder, lightning type of surges through our body, right? Like almost like we're touching electricity, right? That kind of celestial downpour. And the reason for that is so that we can really move on from things we need to move on as quickly as possible. It could be a mindset, it could be a relationship, it could be something in the past, childhood, whatever it is, an interlock, an obsession, an addiction, so that we can have the reserve energy to start working on our dharma, right? Start working on our dharma, start working on what a lot of us, if you're listening to this, really want to construct on this planet Earth. And it could be an idea, it could be a creative project, but a lot of us, we need to get the shovel and shovel through a lot of this magic show. We've been bamboozled by the Wizard of Oz. We thought was the great success to find ourselves interlocked in a matrix show, magic show, matrix, that really, when we look at it, it really has nothing to do about human liberty or sovereignty. It's this whole matrix system that we're so tempted and seduced by and get interlocked with. It's based off of a work slave ancient past, a patriarchal past. This whole matrix, you can call it powers that were, or Illuminati, or whatever you want to call these sort of elite groups. This sort of elite group was basically put in place during the Egyptian times. It has everything to do with the work slave society that all of the pharaohs of ancient Egypt participated in, right? And is for a long time we've been in that. So this sort of matrix show, we're not magic show, the Matrix, the Wizard of Oz. It's like we go there to look for knowledge, right? I want this, that, and the other. We dress like it, we drink the Kool-Aid, we do that, this, and the other, to find that really that's not no pot of gold, it's false gold, right? And that's the kind of shock of the Matrix, is to realize you're thick in it, but not really getting anything from it. Getting just a bunch of non-realities, that these relationships, this type of mindset, this type of belief, this type of just relationship with yourself, it's a dud. It's just mediocrity. You're playing with yourself. Like the Wizard of Oz is a mediocre. He's mediocre. He's not actually a wizard, right? We all get that in the Dorothy on the journey, so excited to meet the charlatan of charlatans, right? The knowledge is beyond the Matrix, the magic show, right? That's why it's called secret society. It's why it's called the secrets, to manifestation, or it's hidden in plain sight, or it's not going to be on billboards, it's not going to be on the news channels, it's not going to be in social media up in your face for a reason, right? This we call the fifth dimension. It's something that you have to unlock within your own consciousness. And you notice for about 6,000 years or so, there has been a redirection away from consciousness and into like organized religion, right? There's been a sort of a redirection, right? It's total distraction in many ways from the consciousness within oneself and the interstellar consciousness that every human being has, right? There's been a sort of redirection, and then you kind of, you separate people from the elders, you separate people from the tribes, you put them in places where they have no sense of culture, right? They have no sense of identity, right? You lock them into something that strips the sort of dignity, right? And what do you have? People who begin to participate in a non-reality for multiple generations. Reality has everything to do with character, everything to do with your consciousness, and that is your creativity, your emotionality, and your spirituality, and the kind of culture and the kind of knowledge that you're holding. And the reason why elders, fatherless, motherless, that whole seeming never-ending cycle of that, right, for all of us on this planet, is because there's the elders. Right, that's a big thing. That's the tribe. The tribe is about, tribe is not just you link up with somebody who you think is your soulmate. No. The tribe is about generations. The tribe is the first thing you have before you create a lineage. You cannot have a lineage without a tribe, right? So before we even had these, 400 years, 800 years of a lineage, right? For if you're, in the sort of monarchy perspective, the medieval, lineage of 400 years ruling, or even this goes back to the Sumerian people, where the Sumerians, they had kings that were like 40,000 years old or something like that. Like 40,000, like what is this, right? It's a lineage, right? But before you can have that, you have to have a tribe. You have to have a system of elders in place. That's knowledge. Knowledge is the elder. You go to a library, what is the information? It's elder system. It's like history, right? And there's a lot of it has to do with the history of creativity and the different sort of experiences of creativity from this era of creativity and this present moment of creativity from this geographic region of creativity, a German poet versus a Japanese poet. And all of that is the elder system. A history, a sort of time. We're tapping into a time-space machine of planet Earth. But when you don't have that, it's very easy to get into a non-reality, which is the Matrix show, where people like looking at the Wizard of Oz, like, oh my God, he's the rocker, he's the most amazing. And then when you go to meet him, you're like, wow, you're such a charlatan. You don't have anything. You're like a robot. You're not even real. I'm sure a lot of us have that, right? And the sort of Wizard of Oz is kind of like a sort of child version of the Matrix movie, right? In many ways, except Dorothy is learning what? Character. She's learning character. And that's the kind of moral of the story, is that it's not so much about the destination of the wizard, and because sometimes what you think is not always what it is, right? What you project. It's going deeper. It's finding your own sort of your own trust in yourself through grit and through participation, through involvement and experience. And Dorothy learned her grit. She learned charisma. She learned important life lessons. She had experiences that tested her and tried her, and all kinds of these sort of upheavals, right? But she built a character. She built a sort of connection with reality and what is real reality. She learned from the tribe. Reality is about, the lion would say, the courage, or the Tin Man would say, about having your heart, right? The Scarecrow would say, having a brain. All of that is what we're learning constantly in our daily practice. We're learning how to have courage, how to have a heart, how to have a brain. Because without these simple things, we're just a dud. This is mediocrity. It's just mundane, in a way where we become more victims of life, and we get locked into life, and we just don't really have the sovereignty, right? So all of these different characters in The Wizard of Oz were just basically looking for their sovereignty. They felt very locked into their sort of non-reality, right? Locked into an insecurity, locked into a sort of emptiness or a void about themselves, locked into some sort of low self-worth, low self-esteem, a fear, a doubt, and not knowing, how do I transform? How do I create a renaissance, a rebirth, rebirth, reinvention. That's Renaissance, rebirth, reinvention. So all of them, their Renaissance for the lion was the courage. The Renaissance for the Tin Man is the heart. The Renaissance for the Scarecrow was the brain, because that's what gave them renovation. That's what gave them the sovereignty to actually live a life, create a reality that is quite liberating, right? And we have whole type, a lot of these sort of stories are, gone. When we talk about a lot of these groups who've liberated, and the groups people, we can talk about the Moses story, the liberating of the people. That's a common one, but there's so many others where there's liberation happening, liberating yourself from the smoke and mirrors, from the rose-colored glasses that has you completely locked into emotional immaturity that doesn't feed your soul, and it doesn't really give you your brain, your heart, and it doesn't give you courage. It just feeds you a sort of taking from your energy, using your energy like you're right. And we have a lot of that on our planet, and that's just what we're in on the planet. So when we look at the model of this society, it was not modeled yesterday. It was not modeled 100 years ago. It was modeled thousands of years ago, and it was modeled by a sort of work-slave society, right? And even to this day, it's still in that model. But what's happening is that, we have a larger population that we've ever had, probably since the Egyptian times, at least 12,000 years ago. And their planet is intergalactic again, right? Or it is becoming, in the next 200-300 years, becoming intergalactic, and we will become interstellar beings traveling. We're just beginning that sort of experience. And what's going to happen is, with that, you're going to need a totally different structure, because once you have people interstellar, you're dealing with other planetary systems that are interacting with people, other dimensions, other realities. And when you have that sort of expansion of the way you look at things and way you live your life, you need a totally different system on this planet Earth. And the work-slave society is not going to do it. It may have done in the Anunnaki times, right, with this sort of, binding people to this sort of caste system and keeping them there, right, as a way so you can kind of get what you want, right? And there's always about get what I want through the sort of climbing over other people. So there's all of that on this planet. But none of that gives you the knowledge. It doesn't, right? So those who broke away, a lot of them, all of these great scientists, mathematicians, artists, how they really broke away from this sort of matrix system, work-slave society, that has nothing to do about the liberating of the soul, the raising of the vibration, the raising of the Kundalini, has nothing to do with that at all. It's not designed for that. The whole purpose of it is for the taking in many ways. So how people were able to step away and start to create their own reality is through knowledge. A lot of these people, they kind of either went into caves, or they isolated themselves in the mountains, or they sort of went away in some way to meditate, to study something, to find knowledge, right? And all of these great leaders, there's a sense of focus on a subject of interest and becoming really good at it, right? And that subject of interest could be something as public speaking, something of, if you're Nikola Tesla, an invention, you have this great interest in light, and where does light come from? You're so obsessed with that. So instead of being obsessed with what we don't have, and I want this relationship, obsessed with, this man calling me back, or this woman, or, be obsessed as Nikola Tesla and even Pablo Picasso seemed very obsessed, but in a way that actually pushed them, intimidated themselves to go deeper with their artistry, right? So all of us in many ways, it's like we want the Renaissance within the outer world, within, like we just want it to just happen. Not understanding that there's something, the Renaissance has to happen within us. We have to actually have something going on within us. We have to actually build it up within us. Like a Renaissance doesn't just come out of the blue. There's this sense of working going on, but it's in the down low. Before this big bang of Renaissance happened, there's usually a bunch of people, or at least a couple people, who've probably spent at least 2 decades literally like in a cave or in an art studio or in like poetry reading, or in the mountains or whatever they're doing, and they're working on something diligently, obsessively, right? Like Nikola Tesla, I'm obsessed with light. And what is light? Oh my gosh, light, right? And spending many hours on that, and that basically becoming it's almost it feeds you. It feeds you, it takes care of you, right? So you're not so needing to interlock with yourself with these sort of compete, compare, contrast realities where all you're doing is complaining about, I gotta compete some more because I gotta compare some more, I gotta contrast some more, right? And then basically you're participating in a karmic debt with society where you're never really getting the balance of the scales. As soon as you get something, it's like, oh, I gotta get that, and then you try to, right? The karmic debt in many ways is what we're trying to recover from and trying to heal, and you can say break through the karmic debt. And that can show up with the karmic debt you have with your parents. They did this to you, karmic debt with yourself, and you in these relationships, you're not listening to yourself, not following through in your heart, whatever it is. We're all like learning, okay, I gotta pay this stuff off so I can actually liberate myself, right? So I can actually liberate myself. So, and the liberation of the self has everything to do with your courage, your heart, and your brain, and your relationship with that. And that relationship being one that actually is exalted. Not just, I can't look at myself, I don't even want to think because I hate what I'm thinking, or I just want to listen to loud TV because I don't want to feel my emotions, right? No, that's the person who's feeding into the void, that sort of naive, like oblivion, that sort of like time goes by, you're like 35 and you're like looking at your resume in your sort of creativity, and you're like, follow through my heart this, follow through my heart no, follow through my heart no, follow through my heart no, pursue this, no, right? So we're gonna tune in now. We want it to be a yes to creativity, yes to new things, yes to nowness, yes to liberation, yes to paying off your karmic debt and moving on, yes to breaking through the whatever blocks, the matrix blocks, the sort of work slave society blocks, and knowing that you're gonna have to, you're Nikola Tesla, Pablo Picasso, all these sort of Renaissance movement, you got to make that inside of you. You need the character to do that, right? When I think of Enduring Virtue, who's basically the the front line of Oracle cards, right? If you're into that, she spent years in her subject of interest, really ingraining it in her, this sort of knowledge that she needed, right? But a lot of us, it's just, especially in this sort of Western society, I can see in a lot of many ways, we're so used to just, since we're such a young country, especially in the United States of America, in many ways we're used to like thinking like it's just gonna fall from the sky, right? But for me, having like a sort of Eastern, multiple past lives, the character is something that is heavily ingrained in me, right? And the character has everything to do with your talents and your gifts. And that's how you're able to break through. Your talent, you could be simply public speaking, like Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King Jr., both public speakers in many ways, masters of that, the sound current. Or it could be something of art, right? That you create talent with. You create a sort of impactful broadcast that really reaches into people and creates a sort of renaissance with them, in the sense of rebirth and resurrection and reinvention that gets them shifting in ways where they start to feel good about themselves, right? Everybody just wants to feel good about themselves. So bring your hands together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Spine is tall, shoulders rolled back and down, tucking the chin slightly. Open up the heart. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale. Exhale. We'll do our protection mantra. Inhale to begin. Adgadename, Jagadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurudev Ename. Adgadename, Jagadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurudev Ename. Adgadename, Jagadgadename, Sadgadename, Siddhi Gurudev Ename. Inhale. Squeeze up and in. Squeeze sex organ, rectum, navel, belly button, spine. Exhale. Now come into cat-cow. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale. Squeeze the butt. Squeeze the sex organ, the navel. Squeeze belly button to spine. Press the tongue on the upper palate. Exhale around the back. Squeeze belly button to spine very tight. Squeeze the pelvic area forward and up. Squeeze the butt. Now, inhale long and deep through the nose as you come into child's pose. Bring the forehead to the earth, hands in prayer above the head. You can send a prayer deep into the earth. It's a beautiful posture for surrender and for receptivity. Okay, inhale, exhale, come seated on your bottom. Bring your hands into prayer at the heart. Press firmly the hands together with pressure. We're going to do a breath of fire, which is an even inhale, exhale through the nose. And you're going to close your eyes, focused up and in, and you're going to visualize in your mind's eye a white flame at the heart, the white flame of the Holy Spirit. You can also imagine a white dove. Begin now. Inhale. Hold the breath, squeeze up and in, press the tongue on the roof of the mouth, squeeze sex organ, rectum, navel, belly button, spine. Exhale through the nose. We'll do fists of anger. Bring the thumb to the pinky mount, the Venus finger, or the Jupiter, the Mercury finger, and you're gonna punch around you, and you're gonna bring up all your anger, frustration, agitation, all the bitterness, all of the rage, all of that tension that you're hiding within your emotional body. You're gonna let it all come out very wildly, crazy, insane become. Become very angry, mad with insanity. Become even more passionate. Think out, 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 get it out. Inhale through the O-shaped mouth. Interlace the fingers, bring the palms up to the sky. Press the tongue on the roof of the mouth, squeeze up and in. Now see white light all around you as you release the anger. Sip up more air. Exhale, cannon fire. Now sweep the hands, palms face down through the oar. And just breathe long and deep through the nose as you press each finger tip to the earth at this sort of 60-degree downward angle. Just feel energy feel like you got out that tension, emotional frustration, psychological weight that you are carrying. Sometimes it's good to be angry it's good to be angry in general. but we need to know how to move that anger through a constructive, corrective, creative channel. Inhale, exhale. Now we'll do the last thing, the addiction meditation. So bring the thumbs out, the fingers on the finger mounds. You're going to bring it to the temples, right here, the temples. You're going to inhale long and deep. Hold the breath, press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. You're mentally reciting Satanama, as many times as you can while holding your breath. With each sound, you're bringing the back molars together. Satanama. When you can't hold your breath any longer, you exhale long and deep, sustaining that breath, and then inhale long and deep to repeat. And we'll begin now. Inhale. Exhale. And just relax. Breathe long and deep through the nose, and just feel the sort of liberation within you. All starts within you. The Renaissance will not be found until it is found within yourself. Everything outside is just merely an extension of what you have participated in within yourself. So participate within yourself to change the narrative of what this outer reflection is revealing to you, responding to you, trying to get you to pay attention, to see, to listen a little deeper, a little closely, to follow through in your heart a little bit more passionately, and to take it seriously with the messages of your heart, your kindred soul is trying to convey to you. It's an important lesson. It's very important. It's fine detail that makes all the difference, that we can actually tap into the fine detail because we're sensitive, subtle enough to pay attention to the fine details. Seeing that in the reflection, you can see the little fine details of yourself that make all the difference, that create a whole other sort of dynamic range, dimensional sort of well-roundedness that we need in order to really see into the world with clear eyes, rather than see into the world with all of our programming and drinking from the Kool-Aid and the confusion that is never ending, and the puzzles and the issues and the problems that's just never fully making sense, and will never make sense our entire life until we start to make sense of what we see in the mirror, the light that shines through, the light that shines through. Okay, inhale, exhale. Now come seated onto your knees for this Kriya. And again, if you need to, you can put a blanket underneath your bottom in between your heels. That will help if you need to kind of sit more comfortably on your knees, if you have some sort of issue with sitting on your knees like this. Okay. So we're going to have our, we're going to grab our elbows like this. And we're just going to go side to side. So, inhale to the left, exhale to the right through the nose. Opening up your diaphragm, opening up your lung capacity. Inhale, exhale. Now come back and to your bottom and bring your legs out in this sort of a wide V. And then what you're gonna do is I like to sit on a pillow, right? That will help you to keep your spine tall so you're not like sinking. You're gonna interlace your fingers, you're gonna lift up and then just sort of have the wide V, and then you're going to do a breath through the O-shaped mouth. And as you do, you're going to come forward and come back, just like slightly coming forward the 45, back of the 45. Inhale through the O-shaped mouth. Hold the breath and begin to bring arms down towards the knee. Exhale. Up, inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale, hold. Exhale. Just bring your hands down, relax for a moment, energizing the system. So what you're going to do now is you're going to interlace your fingers here at the third eye, and you're going to twist. So you're going to come bring your legs back in. You're going to twist, inhale to the left, exhale to the right. And you're going to have your palms facing out. And you're going to have your thumb in, all the fingers are sort of, contained. Kind of bring it here at the forehead. And then twist like this. But really twist with the whole neck, the whole spine. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. Inhale. Now pull the fingers apart. Try to pull them apart. Hold the breath. Press the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Exhale, canify. Inhale, pull. Exhale. Inhale, pull. Exhale. So that right there, you're working on that sort of, they're working on the spine. When you're tucking the chin, you're letting the energy move, the Kundalini move. Now we're going to come right into downward facing dog. Bend the knees, stick the butt out. Open the heart, look towards the navel. Bring the heels to the earth. Really press back. So what you're going to do in this posture, you're going to inhale, exhale, bring the legs into deep squat, reaching the hands back, and then kind of bring the legs up, still bending the knees. And then kind of sweep it through, and then bring it back to downward facing dog. Down and then come up. And inhale, come all the way down. Hold the fingers like this. Index finger. Okay, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just kind of come back onto your knees. What you're going to do is you're going to come into a child's pose. You're going to kind of bring the butt up, and you're going to wiggle the butt and the shoulders. So you're letting your movement of the hips jiggling side to side to kind of create this sort of shimmy in the shoulders and this sort of movement of the feet. What you're doing is you're taking out a lot of the sort of weight, psychological weight. You're clearing it out, the fear, letting it go. Keep going. Okay, inhale, exhale, come back onto your knees. Breathe long and deep. Inhale, exhale. Now we're going to come back seated, doing a pranayama. Okay. So you're gonna have your right hand up, thumb over the right nostril, and breathe long and deep through the left nostril. Inhale. Exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils. Now just begin to kind of use your kind of like slicing, and just gonna hit the forearm from the wrist up to the the back of the elbow. Just kind of you're hitting these particular meridian points. So just go back and forth. Breathe long and deep. What you're doing is you're releasing energy so that you would just feel a lot better. You just want to feel good. If anything, we just want to feel good in our own body. Circulate the chi. Okay, inhale. Exhale. Now you're going to hit the side of the neck, more towards the back, and then the other side. But there's a particular point, this sort of side, and more towards the spine. You can hold a lot of tension, frustration in this area. And you're tucking your chin slightly so that you're letting this back of the neck be spacious. Okay, inhale, exhale. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to hummy, 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 hummy. 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 Hummy, 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 hummy. Hummy, 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 hummy. Hummy, 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 hummy. Hummy, 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 hummy. Hummy, 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 hummy. Hummy, 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 hummy. Hummy, 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 hummy. Hummy, 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 hummy. Hummy, 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 hummy. Now inhale. Hold. Press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Sip up more air through the nose. Squeeze. Mula Bandha. Exhale. Cannon fire. Now you're going to go. Inhale. Squeeze up. Press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Sip up more air through the O-shaped mouth. Cannon fire. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Last time, hold. Exhale. Now hold your ears. Kind of press the sort of ego mound, here the thumb mound, in the sort of ear. And then just listen to your own breath as you breathe in and out through the nose. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Now relax all the way onto your right side. You lay down on your right side, and you're gonna kind of make yourself like a board as you allow this frequency to go into you. Allow this frequency to just go into you. This will help you. Allow it to just go into you. And just have your arms, your right like a sort of like a pillow, and your other left on the side of your left leg. And just kind of press the pelvic area forward slightly. Okay, inhale, exhale, and then just rock and roll in your back and cat stretch. And then rock and roll up. Come seated. And we'll do a short little meditation. So you're gonna hold like you're holding a baby, right? And your sort of left side, or you're holding something like a precious earth, and you're gonna sing to it. So you can imagine it's your dream, your actual child, can represent the planet, can represent the love you have in your heart. You're gonna give it, you're trying to nurture it. Nurture this dream, this baby. Sa se out the left side, hold your baby. Yo. Imagine you're holding the baby that is you. Very, very healing. Inhale. Breathe in, hold the breath. Exhale. Relax the hands down. Just close your eyes and just allow the healing to integrate and take place within you. Allow this new energy to help you relax during this intensified time. We worked a lot on the parasympathetic nervous system. Worked a lot on the sort of left brain, or not the left brain, the moon energy, right, which is the right hemisphere of the brain, the moon energy. So worked a lot on that moon, which is about the parasympathetic nervous system to relax, right, to calm down, calming the system down, right, so that you can fall asleep, so that you can have deep sleep, so that you can have a sort of be in a meditative state of mind, a neutral mind, so that you can start to flow with the changes rather than sort of rigidly try to resist or try to feel caught up or entangled or very, very overheated, right? So we kind of cool, working on the moon's like cooling. It's about cooling. So you can bring your hands together. We'll tune out with one long sat and short nam. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Bow to yourself in your practice, and thank you for joining me. And you should be able to sleep pretty good with this particular Kriya that we've done, because it works with the sleep part of you, right? The sleep part of the brain that helps you to go deep, so you can heal very deeply, so you can let go very deeply, and so that you can experience a sort of flow state where we experience the most transformation and the most sort of receptivity and reciprocity to our creativity and our soul, our divinity.